All right, in a recent IFL interview, Eddie Hearn listed three potential opponents for Anthony Joshua's next fight. Now, it says that basically they're planning on having this in March of this coming year in Saudi Arabia, and he's named three opponents. Before I talk about the opponents, Frank Warren, I was reading on boxing. Actually, I was going to do a separate video on it. I was going to just talk about Warren until I seen the IFL interview with Hearn. Warren was talking about still going ahead with big fights on the 9th of March in Saudi Arabia, in spite of Deontay Wilder losing. And I did kind of entertain that idea myself because I was thinking, okay, the Saudis seem to always have a backup plan. Because that Day of Reckoning card, that was not meant to be what it was. In that sense, it wasn't meant to be Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, those people. It wasn't meant to be that type of card. The original plan was, what I can gather, was that Usyk Fury was going to be on that day. When that got pushed back to February, it was like, okay, well, we still have this date here. Let's do something with it. And I get the impression they're doing this with the Saudi date, or with the March the 9th date, I should say, the Saudis are. Because obviously the plan would have been Wilder versus Joshua. That's not going to happen. Wilder took the L. That is what that is. But obviously they're still going to probably persevere with it. I believe that's still in Riyadh season. So they're obviously going to try and still do something with it. Frank Warren has been talking about that. Now, I seen one, I think it was Joe Joyce, was saying that he wouldn't mind. I don't know if he was, I'm trying to think of why he said it was a while. I say a while, it was earlier today. But I think it was something worse to the effect of Daniel Dubois versus Joe Parker and he faces the winner or something like that. And to be honest with you, although Joe Joyce has taken back-to-back L's, I it's weird, isn't it? It really is. I know I shouldn't laugh, but it is one of those really weird things where Joe Joyce has a career best performance against Joseph Parker. And honestly, I thought that was the end of Parker. I really did. I was like, oh, he's done after that. Joseph Parker goes, and little over a year later, he's beaten Deontay Wilder on the stage in Saudi, rejuvenating his career, and Joe Joyce picking himself up off the canvas a year later, almost a year to the day later. And it really is, it's a real case of, okay, you won, but, in the short term, but like, you won the battle but lost the war. That's kind of the best way you could describe it. Because it is really weird that Joe Joyce wins that fight September 22, and a year later, like, we're all looking and saying, how the hell do you come back from that? Whereas Joseph Parker, again, I was looking at that fight in 2022 thinking, how the hell do you come back from it? Well, he did. So, could they do a rematch? How would that go? I mean, Joe Joyce took some shots from Joe Parker and that. I know we're going a bit off topic here, but just bear with me. I might even do a separate video on it, actually. In fact, maybe I will. Maybe I won't even go down this road and ramble on this video about that. But we'll go back to what Eddie Hearn was saying here. So the three opponents, yes, it took me a while, but we got here. The three opponents he's named here, and two of them I'm not surprised at. One of them, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that this guy's name is being mentioned, but I still am. The first one, obviously, is, of course, Filip Hrgović. That makes sense. Both guys are with Matchroom. I know Hrgović is kind of co-promoted by Matchroom and Sauerland, but they work so closely together. They're like, they're like that, the two of them. They've been doing it for years, working together now. They've been working together for many, many years. Even in the Sky days, Sky would show a lot of the Sauerland shows. You'd see Sauerland fighters fight on Hearn shows and vice versa. Some of them would go on to Sauerland shows when they used to put them on over in Germany. So nothing really new there. And obviously, Joshua would be in line to fight for a vacant title if, in fact, the IBF title gets vacant. So there you go. Zhilei Zhang, and obviously Zhilei Zhang has called out Anthony Joshua. That's a... All right, look, look, don't get me wrong. I'd like to see it. But if I'm looking at that from a matchmaking or promotion standpoint, I'm like, well, I suppose if the Saudis pay enough money for it, I mean, who would have thought we'd get Fury Usyk after everything that happened this year, or last year now? But I'd look at that fight and just think, like, what really do you have to gain from beating Zhilei Zhang? Because if you're fighting Hrgović and there's a vacant title on the line, happy days, you get a world title. If there is still a vacant title with the IBF, but you choose to fight Zhilei Zhang, you're only fighting for an interim. An interim title is not a real world title. It gives you certain benefits that being mandatory doesn't, but it's a very dangerous fight. And personally, for me, out of those two fights, I would see Hrgović. Look, I'd be picking Joshua most likely in both of them. In fact, yeah, I would. I'd pick him over both those guys. But I would more comfortably pick him over Hrgovic than I would over Zhilei Zhang. I would more comfortably pick over Hrgovic than Zhilei Zhang. And the last opponent, obviously, is Francis Ngannou. Now, Francis Ngannou, his name is at the forefront of many people's after that Tyson Fury fight. Because for a pro debut, to go in there and give an account of yourself like that, I honestly thought, like, you know, when I was talking about this fight, did I do a prediction video in a sense of did I really go in? I don't recall. Maybe I did. I don't remember. I do so many videos. I don't remember all of them. But I think saying that the only way Ngannou could win that fight is just to go balls to the wall and just don't try and outbox him. Well, he did. The boxing wasn't doing too bad, to be fair. And, you know, other than the round he dropped them, he won other rounds. Like the 8th round was a big round for Ngannou. You know, Fury left with a marked up face, black eye and stuff like that, and he was knocked down. So Ngannou, in terms of professional debuts, fair play. You know, that was something else. In terms of him being, like, obviously he's ranked now in the top 10 of the WBC, but that's Sullivan. He does silly things like that. Ngannou, would I put him in the top 10 of heavyweight? No. Would I pick him over certain heavyweights? Yeah, I mean, like, probably at this stage, if the fight happened, I might even make him a slight favourite over someone like a Dillian Whyte. Maybe. Would I pick him over someone like an Anthony Joshua? An Alexander Usyk? No. Would I pick him even over a Zhang or Hrgovic? To be honest, no, I wouldn't. So I see why they're mentioning Ngannou, because I'm sure the Saudis will pay a great amount of money for that. There'd be a lot of fan interest in it, especially after the Fury fight. And you'll make a lot of money. You more than likely get the win. And considering the fact that Joshua, I'm sure he's taken a lot of confidence from the fact that he was able to go in there with Otto Wallin, a guy who Tyson Fury fought and had trouble with, and just blow him out of the water. For him to go in there again with someone Tyson Fury fought and had trouble with, got dropped, and would he blow Ngannou out of the water, Otto Wallin type? Probably not. I wouldn't say he'd be, I don't think Ngannou would be as bad as Wallin was that night. And I think probably would be a bit more durable. But I still think he'd win pretty comfortably. I still think that. So that could be, I kind of see where he's coming from with that one. They're the 3 names he mentioned. Out of all of them, the most likely I would say is Filip Hrgovic. Surely because Joshua wants to be a 3-time world champion. Hrgovic has fought in Saudi several times. Joshua's now fought in Saudi several times. It seems like he is, in the good books of the Saudis. And listen, right, they are going to be paying some. It's almost now, I was just thinking this today, like, it's almost become now for fighters that they want to fight over there against whoever, more so maybe than they'd want a world title fight. I'd say if you went to certain fighters, it would be like, right, you get a world title crack against your champion in your respective division. Really, yeah, you get your world title crack, or you get a big or decent fight over in Saudi. I'd say the majority would be like, give me the Saudi payday. Give me that payday. Would I get the same payday fighting the champion? No, you'd fight them in maybe their backyard or wherever. No, give me that Saudi money. Give me that back. It's almost like that. It's almost like, if you fight over there, you win. And you're not just happy you won the fight, you're like, I'm getting another payday over there. Is it sustainable in the long term? I don't know. What I will say, if it's not, I'm still going to enjoy it while we have it. But the fact of the matter is, we're getting, who didn't watch that Day of Reckoning card and was not entertained? Who in their right minds went into, if I'd have made a video the first week in 2023, and I would have said 2 days before Christmas, we're going to see a card in Saudi Arabia with all these names on it fighting, people would have been saying, what have you been drinking over the Christmas? Because I want some of that. But it happened. I think it's crazy that we're seeing these cards, and look, if it's sustainable, happy days. If it's not, I'm going to enjoy it while we have it. I'm not going to complain. I'll see these big fight nights and big fight cards. Hey, it's all good. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on Eddie Hearn, what he's been saying there about those 3 potential opponents for Joshua. Who do you think out of those 3 is the most likely for him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. People, smash the like button as always. Hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Big year planned, a lot of stuff to do. Can't believe I'm saying it, but 20k is the next target. 20k. Even saying like 15k was kind of like, oh wow, 15k. 20 flipping thousand. That's the next. That's crazy. That's insanity. Honestly, that is actually mental. Next target is 20k plus, not just 20k plus. Damn. I'll leave it there. Peace.